In today's video, I want to talk about choosing fabrics for a project that I've made before. Hi, I'm Kim Jamieson-Hirst of Chatterbox Quilts. And a little over a year ago, I made this quilt, which I call Flying Diamonds, and it was for a challenge as an Island Batik ambassador. And I loved this quilt. I designed this quilt. I really liked it. I loved the quilting I did on it. Loved the colors, nice and bright and everything, that contrast with the background. But it was given away as a charity quilt, which was great. I hope the person who received it really enjoys it. But I loved that quilt and I decided I wanted to make it again. Now, when you make a quilt a second time, you have the opportunity to change things up a lot, right? You can change totally different fabrics. You can do different quilting on it. There's lots of opportunity for doing something different. But you know what? I really like the colors in this quilt as far as those diamonds. You see those three diamonds where there's the turquoise and the kind of lime green and the red. And so I really wanted to keep those colors. And I decided that I was going to go with a white background again. I thought about going dark with black maybe, but I just really like the look of this quilt. So I'm not varying too much from some of the fabrics I use, but some of the other ones I was thinking about doing something a little different. So I want to talk about that with you today. So I said there was three diamonds. There's the turquoise, there's the green, and there's the red. So I don't have enough of the fabrics I used in this to do it exactly the same, hence why I have to make some choices. But I do have some fabrics that are similar. So I like this for that turquoisey look. This tends to be more on the blue side. I have two choices here. This is a batik, by the way. I have another batik here, and then a traditional fabric, I guess you'd say, traditional cotton fabric there. And then I have this red, which I really love. The texture in it is not a batik, but it kind of reads like that, doesn't it? So now my next decision is, do I go with this, this, and this? Or do I change out the batik in the green and go with the polka dots? I don't think I could go wrong with either of them. So you can let me know what you think in the comments below, which way you would go. But I think this will be a fairly easy decision. And like I said, I don't think I can go wrong even if I went, if I went with the polka dots or I went with the batik. They're both pretty much the same color. So I think either one would work. I told you I was going to go with a white background. I got lots of white, just solid white fabric. It's going to be great to quilt on, really show up the quilting. And then I have those little background, those little flying geese that go together. There's two of them that go together to make those little units in the background. So in the original quilt, I went with a kind of a navy-ish, like a dark blue fabric and a green, kind of dark green. So there's a bit of a contrast, but not a lot of contrast between those, okay? And they kind of recede in the background. I mean, you can certainly see them, but they don't distract from those diamonds that pop off that quilt, right? So this is what I was trying to figure out what I was going to do for those. So I turned to EQ8, Electric Quilt 8, to help me. And I try to do it with some lighter fabrics, okay? So I have some light fabrics here, for example. So I have these little bubbles that are fun and maybe putting them like this. But this is definitely a lot lighter than the ones I used in the original pattern. So I was trying to figure out if I like this or not. And again, I go to EQ8 because I find it difficult to just kind of lay the fabrics, next to other ones and see what they're going to look like, especially when there's so many of those units in that quilt. I found that the lighter fabrics really didn't do it for me. I think they drew attention away from the diamonds, so I scrapped that idea. Didn't like that. So we can get rid of those fabrics. We're not doing that. Then I have some other fabrics here. So I could have gone with, for example, something like this maybe. This is the same fabric, but in a different colorway. Something like this, for example. There's still a contrast between them. Not a contrast in pattern, but a contrast in color. I think you can see that. Not so sure I like that either. Well, then maybe I could keep this one. I kind of like that fabric actually, but I didn't like having the two patterns the same together. There's too much fabric, too much pattern going on there. So the next thing I'm looking at is maybe this one and maybe this one. So again, we've got enough of a contrast there. This fabric being a little bit darker than this one. You can see it's a little bit darker. So there's not quite as much of a contrast. I want a little bit of a contrast, but not a huge contrast. So I put that up in EQ8 to see what it looked like. I'm thinking that's looking pretty good. So I think I might stick with these. You can let me know what you think I should be doing. I may listen to your comment, or I may go with what I've decided. But when I'm trying to choose fabrics for a project like this, I could have gone with something totally different in those diamonds if I wanted to. but I really like the color combinations there. I love bright colors in my quilts, so I really wanted to stick with the original one. I know it's kind of boring when you just stick with something you've already done, but what I am going to do is I'm going to, well, for one, change up those background little flying geese units. That's going to be different fabrics for sure. And I'm also going to be doing it, quilting it a lot different, I think. So you can look forward to more videos on this in the future. Now I want to take this chance to say thank you and give a shout out to my Patchwork Pals. Those are people who are in my Patchwork Pals YouTube channel membership, and for a small monthly fee, they help to support my channel, allowing me to provide free content for you, and they also get some really good perks, such as getting early access to all my videos. So if you'd like to become a Patchwork Pal member, you can do that by clicking the join button underneath any of my videos. It gives you all the details and the opportunity to join Patchwork Pals. You could even become a member today. Now, if you're wanting more details on the quilt that I made originally, don't worry, I've got you covered. Check out this video that has all the details you need. And for more helpful quilting information, be sure to go to my website at www.chatterboxquilts.com.